guys, it's your old pal Tony Giles TG here, and look, I know what you're thinking. Isn't this the guy that a few months back said that he was done with making videos talking about records on the internet? The answer to that is yes, I was indeed that man, and at the time, creating the record room seemed like a wonderful idea, seemed like a brilliant idea. It was a way for me to extend what I'd done with the podcast, the DFC, and talk about not only film music, but also some of the other genres of music that I was really passionate about. Unfortunately, work and life get in the way of hobbies, as they sometimes do, but recently I've made some changes, and truth be told, I really love talking about and showing records to people. I really miss the interaction I have with the guys that not only view these videos, but also the people I talk to online. And I took a step back from social media a bit, and I've been kind of jumping back into that because I do like chatting to other record collectors. And as we're still in the pandemic, it seems like social media is kind of the safest way to do that. And as I have made some life changes, I figured, well, I still own all of the equipment. My love and passion for music hasn't changed, so would it be so bad to maybe make a video every now and again? Yeah, I don't think it will, and I'm not going to hold myself to any kind of schedule of doing a new video every week or every 2 weeks. I figured I'd just do a video when I had something I wanted to talk about. That seems to be the best way to do things. I used to be a regular poster on Instagram. It was kind of a daily thing for me to post a record and talk about it, but I've kind of cut way back on that as well, and I haven't really missed it. So what you're going to get from now on isn't a new record room. It's going to be exactly the same. As you can see, everything behind me is exactly the same. I'm still going to be talking about and sharing my love and passion for all kinds of music, mainly on the vinyl format. I may dabble in the odd cassette every now and again, but they'll come up when they come up. That's what I can say to you. But as this is kind of a restart of sorts, I thought I'd actually go back and talk about an album or a film score that changed my life in many ways. I've spoken about this record before. I don't think I ever really did a video on it before, so I figured it would be a good one to start with. And the record in question is Danny Elfman's score for Tim Burton's Batman. And I was 11 years old when this came out. My copy's actually a little bit beaten. This is actually a US copy that's got the, it's a cutout copy. So this was a discount copy when this came out. So I was 11 when Batman came out in the UK. And the film itself was the first ever 12 rated film. And I was too young to see it. And even though I was too young, nothing was gonna stop me from seeing this film. And so I went to the cinema on the day of release, the first showing. I got in a line with tons of other kids. And I was fairly near the front, and I was with my cousin and one of my best friends at the time. And my cousin, who's actually, I think he's a year or two older than me, he's always been really tall. So he passed for 12, no worries. And he was actually 12 at the time, so it wasn't a big deal. But myself and my friend, we were both 11 at the time, and literally the manager of the theater started going through the line, just pulling kids out, literally grabbing them by the scruffs of their shirts and just pulling them out and saying, no, you can't come in. So unfortunately I was pulled out of line, and I didn't get to go and see Batman on that first showing, and I was devastated by this. I'd waited so long. I'd been such a fan of Batman for so long, reading comic books, watching the old Adam West TV show, playing video games, playing with action figures. I was completely devastated by this. And I actually called up my mom and explained what had happened. And my mom essentially said to me, don't go anywhere, stay there. And so my mother and my aunt actually came to the theater and tore strips into the manager, basically saying that if he didn't let us in, myself and my friend, there would be issues. And my mother isn't a violent or a fighting person. It was just that memory's kind of always stuck out to me, that she did that for me so I could go and see this movie. And I managed to get in, I think it was like the second or third showing. It was showing a ton at the time, almost every hour. So I hadn't missed out much of the day. And going into the film, I really didn't know much. I'd seen the trailer, I'd seen pictures of Batman, I knew how Michael Keaton looked as Batman, I knew what the Joker looked like, but other than that, I didn't really know a lot. But as soon as I sat down and kind of the lights dimmed and the screen came on, the curtains parted and the film started to play, that Danny Elfman score started, and instantly kind of the hairs on the back of my neck and just all of my synapses were firing off. You know, I knew of film music before. I'd grown up as kind of a fan of musicals, which I used to watch with my grandmother, which I'm sure I've mentioned before. But actual score music, I was aware of it, but I hadn't really paid any attention. But just listening to Danny Elfman's score, I was already kind of, wow, this is the best thing I've ever experienced at that point in my life. And it truly was at that time. And so I watched the film, I loved the film. I also loved Prince's soundtrack for the film. From that movie, I became a lifelong Prince fan, as I've spoken about many times before. But it was Elfman's score that really stuck with me that day. And this was the first film score I ever had. I believe I had it on cassette to start with. I don't actually have the cassette now, but just the theme, the opening just completely, it changed me. I became a fan of film music or film scores right there and then. At 11 years old, I knew that film music was something transformative that could really add to to what's happening on the screen. And I actually have, as I mentioned before, this is just a standard. This is the US pressing of the record. I bought this years ago now. I wasn't purposely looking for a US pressing. I think it was probably the only one that was available to me at the time. I can't remember if I got this on Discogs or eBay. I've had it for a long time. And you know, for the longest time, that was my Batman score. And I was super happy with that Batman score. And then a couple of years ago now, Mondo actually released this deluxe version of the Batman score, which features the original score as well as a ton of extras. And I'm pretty sure this came out as a CD at some point as an expanded score for Batman. I'm not a CD collector per se, so don't crucify me in the comments if I'm actually wrong about that. But this version of Batman, this is actually how I choose to listen to the score. If I'm going to listen to it now, and it is something I do listen to. I love the artwork from Killian Eng, I really do. The back cover as well, which features the kind of the end shot of the movie, the iconic Batman standing there with the bat sign looming up in the sky, and then you've got the Joker on the inner gatefold in the top of the Gotham Tower. Oh, actually, no, this isn't this is the Joker in his lair, not in the top of the tower. But either way, I mean, it's still very, very cool. I'm not sure how much of that you're seeing there. The cover's very, very dark, but the package itself is fantastic. And if you are a fan of the Batman score and you don't have a copy yet, track down the original version. You can find it now. It's not super expensive. But if you did want to go for the expanded version, which I personally would recommend because it's more complete and it's a fantastic package. I know this sold out pretty quickly online, but I do believe there is I think they did a black vinyl repress of this. And what's cool about this is disc 1 is on yellow and yellow wax or yellow trans wax with a black blob, kind of representing Batman, which is that's ace to me. There's thought gone into that, and I'm a big fan of vinyl variants where thought has gone into the title. So you have the Batman one, disc 1, and then for disc 2 you could only do one thing, and that's kind of this trans green, again with a nice blob in the center, which I'm going to assume represents the Joker. Joker's got green hair, black blob Batman, you know, it all kind of works. What you also get inside the Mondo package is this fold-out edition of the Gotham? You also get this fold-out edition of the Gotham Globe. And essentially what this is, it's the liner notes for the record, but they've made it look like the newspaper that Vicky Vale works at in the show, in the movie, which is brilliant. They've used some of the actual story from the movie here for the headlines. So Batman cracks Joker's poison code, what to avoid so you don't get taken by Smilex, and it's just great. And then the bottom half here you have the Mondo quotes. So as far as I'm concerned, as a complete package, the Mondo version is well worth checking out. And if you have to spend a little bit of money, I would say go for it. You know, lots of these Mondo pressings for titles like your Marvel, your DC, the horror stuff, some of the earlier titles, those things tend to sell out very quickly and they do become fairly collectible. I mean, Batman collectors are going to be buying this record even if they don't have turntables because it's such a nice piece. So I'm a huge fan of Batman, always have been, always will be, and I'm a huge fan of the many vinyl iterations that Batman's had over the years. So maybe I'll take another trip to Gotham on a future episode. But as for now, thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Remember, you can find us online. We are on Instagram and Twitter. We're also on Facebook, but truth be told, I don't actually use Facebook myself, so I don't really use it. But Instagram and Twitter, you can find us there at The Record Room. Until then, stay gold, take care, and spin that blackest wax.